Let's talk 2024. The presidential election is still more than a year and a half away, with former President Trump and the only declared candidate for office so far. But a new NBC News poll finds that a majority of voters say they're not feeling a rematch against President Biden next year. NBC News senior political editor Mark Murray joins us now for more on this. Mark, good morning. So this poll finds that both Biden and Trump seem to have unfavorable ratings among voters. How was the survey conducted exactly, and what are some of the key takeaways?
Yeah, our poll was conducted January 20th to 24th. And as you ended up mentioning, the poll ends up finding roughly 2/3 of voters who say that they either have reservations or are very uncomfortable when it comes to candidacies by current President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. And what also really ends up standing out are just kind of the polar extremes of this question. You end up having just 7% of all voters who say they are really enthusiastic about Biden's candidacy versus 48% who say that they are very concerned. And then you end up having for the former President Donald Trump, where it's 15% enthusiastic. So that's higher than Joe Biden's, but then a larger percentage, a majority, 52%, who say that they are very uncomfortable with that. And so those are some of the broad looks. The good news for both men, though, is that when you look at just Democrats, you end up having roughly 2/3 of Democrats who say, hey, I am enthusiastic or comfortable with President Biden running in 2024. And among Republicans, you find a similar share who are comfortable or enthusiastic about Trump. And remember, it's that early nomination fight. It's always the first one and sometimes the most important one before we get to the general election.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're still pretty far out from that general election, but this could inform how campaigns work. And I know, Mark, according to the poll, Biden and Trump saw drops in support from voters who went to college and black voters, respectively. So what does this mean to any 2024 campaign strategy?
Yeah, the last time we asked this kind of enthusiastic, comfortable, uncomfortable question was in February of 2020. And for Donald Trump, our poll found that there was a drop among college-educated men in people who end up finding or enthusiastic or comfortable backers of his. And, you know, this is not the Donald Trump base. Our poll still finds 30% of Republicans saying they're very enthusiastic about Donald Trump. That is the that is the army that he hopes to propel him to the Republican nomination. But college-educated voters aren't his base. And for President Joe Biden, African-American voters are his base, but we do find a decline in African-Americans who say that they are enthusiastic or comfortable with him, at least compared to where it was in February of 2020, remember, and that was right as we were gearing up for Super Tuesday before Joe Biden went on a big run to start capturing the Democratic nomination.
Right. And of course, no group is a monolith, but these polls can be a helpful indicator. And of course, we've been talking about Biden and Trump, but sources tell NBC News that former South Carolina governor and ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, is also expected to launch a presidential bid later this month, challenging Trump in a Republican primary. So tell us about her potential impact on this race for the White House.
I think her impact and others who are starting to think about dipping their toes into the 2024 waters, it just signifies how big this Republican field could end up being in 2024. Before the midterms, I think there was the kind of take that the Republican field could be very small. It could be Donald Trump, maybe by himself, maybe with a handful of other potential rivals. But after the Republicans' losses and certainly worse than expected performance in the midterm elections, and many people pointing the finger at Donald Trump and blaming him for it, we are not only seeing people who work for Donald Trump, like Nikki Haley, thinking about jumping in, as well as Mike Pompeo, who was Donald Trump's Secretary of State, Mike Pence, who was Donald Trump's vice president, but also Larry Hogan, the former Maryland governor, who was on Fox News and was saying that he is thinking about getting in. So I'm expecting, at least at this juncture of a very, very early 2024 presidential race, a pretty big Republican field.
Early race, but a lot to watch for. Mark, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.